So welcome back to another episode of Rising Voices. Today we have a new guests, plural, 2 new guests. Next to me I have my friendly interviewer sidekick, Annika. And in front of me I have, want to introduce yourselves?
My name is Shyla Bubard.
My name is Dian, Parisian.
And I have them here with me today and ask them a few questions about their culture and their views and their perspectives, maybe their experiences. And I have a little offering for you both. So I give this to you, I'll offer this to you in hopes of a positive and good conversation. And hopefully I'll get your insights and your solid, from the heart thoughts and opinions. So again, thank you.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
So to start this off, why don't you both tell me a little bit about yourselves for anyone who's listening?
So, as you know, my name is Shyla. I am a fancy dancer. I am a seamstress, and I am a mother. I dance fancy, which is a butterfly dance. It represents the butterfly and how graceful and how beautiful a butterfly is when they fly through the air, through the sky. It also represents the butterfly emerging from their cocoon. My shawl, when it opens and when it spreads, is the butterfly's wings. That's my butterfly dance. And for my seamstress, I just love sewing ribbon skirts. I love sewing ribbon shirts, any type of ribbon wear, honestly. And then I have a daughter and a son. Well, we have a daughter and a son, not just me. We.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dian, and I'm 19. I've been dancing since I was 2 years old and singing and partaking in the ceremonies. The style of dance I dance is men's traditional, and men's traditional represents warriors and hunters going out to their battles or their travels and coming back and telling their stories through their dance. And a stick maker, drum maker, list maker. I know how to do a lot of other things, but I just don't have it on top of my head.
He can do it all.
Very creative mind is what I'm hearing.
Yes, very creative. Anytime he sees me doing something, he'll go and start doing something too.
It's like about 20 wooden clubs in the house.
Just random clubs laying around. Just random sticks.
It's painted.
You just get the itch to create stuff.
If he sees me sitting there starting, he'll...
When I was younger, my dad didn't let me... I used to make a lot of weapons. So, now that I got the freedom to do that, I have a whole bunch of clubs and dancing sticks around the house.
You walk in our house and you'll find a random club just laying there, and somebody asks what it's for, and I'm like, oh, that's just a dance stick. They're like, oh, but it looks like a weapon. And I'm like, well, it's just a dance stick.
No other thought behind it. So I've seen a lot of what you guys have been into recently with the powwows and stuff like that. And I want you to tell me a little bit about that and that experience for you. I know that you guys went to the U of M, right?
On Saturday.
On Saturday, yeah. So how was that?
It was pretty good. Honestly, what's funny about this story is the U of M is the powwow where me and Dian had originally started dating.
Aww.
So that powwow for us is kind of meaningful because it's, where we started dating. Mm-hmm. But now that we have babies, we just try to be more involved in the culture as much as we can because we want to influence the culture on them, but not the same way that it was with us.
Yeah.
Because with me and Dian, the culture was kind of pushed onto us and forced onto us. Mm-hmm. And with our babies, we kind of just want them to be exposed to the culture instead of forcing them to be in the culture. And if they want to dance, they can dance. If they don't want to dance, they don't have to dance, but they'll be there. But the powwows, it's a place for us to go just to have family time, be with one another, mm-hmm. and just experience a great time all together.
Do you bring your babies with you every time?
Most of the times, yes.
Most of the time.
The only time we really don't bring them is when we go to a powwow club. You can answer too.
Yeah. I'm just listening.
Do you have anything to say?
What was the question again? I was listening to you.
I was just asking how that feels for you being able to do all these things.
Well, we met at the U of M powwow. I was dancing for my uncle Ian that passed away. And you know how we do the dance, the special dance, and then everyone comes up and shakes the dancer's hands for dancing for the past one. And then Shyla's mom comes up and she's like, my daughter likes you. And then we just started talking off from there.
I ran away. I like ran over the hills and I was like, yeah, that's not me.
I was like, come back. I need your Facebook.
Did you get her Facebook?
Yeah.
Of course. Not from me, but from my mom.
So when did you guys like really start like doing all of these things together, like going to the powwows and getting into the culture?
We started once we like started dating. His dad actually had brought me into the culture more.
Mm-hmm.
He like tried exposing me more. Like, I don't know if you know like how we do demonstrations sometimes or go dance at like conferences. His dad started pulling me in more to go dance with them within different schools at different like conferences and just different places like that. And that's just kind of how we got more exposed and I got more involved with him and with his family and with the culture.
That's very cute. It's a very nice love story.
Anything you got to say about that?
Sounds like you better.
Yeah.
Having a classic powwow romance.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Have either of you ever danced at a powwow?
No, I've never danced at a powwow. I've made a skirt for a powwow, but I've never fully been able to like actually dance.
Should come try it.
I should. I really want to.
Come dancing at a tribal.
Yeah. I'm supposed to go to Sundance this summer with my mom.
Are you
So
going to start dancing this year or no?
I hope.
I haven't even started my Sundance yet.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm nervous.
It's like, I don't know, it's kind of like nerve-wracking, but it really isn't because once you get out there and you experience it and you're out there, that feeling kind of like goes away. So don't be nervous about it.
Talking about ribbon skirts, when was the first time you made yours? Like the first one you've ever made, when was that?
The very first one that I ever made was probably in 2017 when I was in Eagle's Nest program.
Mm-hmm.
There was this lady that came in and she helped us make skirts. And like, I didn't really take it seriously or take it like in like how I am now.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like brushed it off and like just like listened, like just barely listening, like, you know, how any teenager would.
Yeah.
And then like, I don't know, my auntie had passed away just after COVID hit, like within like, I'd say maybe around September time.
Mm-hmm.
And when she passed away, my auntie was looking for somebody that could make skirts and stuff like that. And I just took it upon myself that that was my sign to start doing my skirts and to start there. And then after she passed away, it's just kind of what influenced me to take it up more and to use that knowledge more because I had the knowledge.
Yeah, I see you making a lot of things recently, actually.
I've been really busy.
It's really beautiful.
Shyla makes ribbon skirts. What do you do, Dian?
Yeah, I was going to say, I see her making all of these different things. Are you making anything? Are you helping?
I've been making these necklaces. I made this matching one, and I made her these duck earrings. We made them together, and I make sticks, drums, anything I just put my mind to. Part of the culture, I just immerse myself into it with all the knowledge I can get.
So when did you like realize that you had the ability to be able to do things like that with your creativity?
After my dad died, he taught me a lot of things. He provided all the knowledge. I listened, but I didn't partake in it. So after he died, it opened my eyes and started taking my role into the power culture.
Okay.
Any questions?
Yeah, so Annika, I haven't heard too much from you. You're a little quiet.
I don't have any questions.
Okay.
Any thoughts?
Anything your heart desires.
I don't know. I'm kind of nervous.
Everyone's being kind of shy.
You said you got into it when your dad died.
Yeah.
How old were you when your dad died? Pretty young still, so.
I don't know. I just like I just shut off my mind that year. I just like cut everything off and just had a year to myself, and then got back into the culture with the help of my lady.
And you were pretty young?
He
Yeah.
was 18.
How old?
18.
18. Oh, yeah, right at that age.
So coming off of that, why do you think that led you into getting into your culture and what you've been into recently?
My dad got me at the age of 2. I was in a house full of addicts, abusers, so I came to my dad pretty traumatized, and he showed me a safe place, showed me I can express myself through the ceremonies and dances and singing on the drum. So it just led me to be myself and express myself through the culture.
Is that what you wanted to hear, cousin?
That's awesome. Yeah, that's cool. I just always find that interesting because it's so often, right, like around something happening in your life, the loss of somebody, and then you kind of go and it fills in that void a little bit, right? I found that in my own life too.
Yeah.
Even I just lost my only fully indigenous ancestor that I had left.
Yeah.
Cookham just passed away a couple weeks ago, and I feel like this podcast is helping kind of fill in that void for me. And then also now, like, I'm smudging a lot more with the kids at the school and stuff like that because it's just that loss, and it reminds you of that person and the things they did that kind of made you feel safe, right?
Yeah.
I just feel that same way, so yeah. Cool.
Jeez, cousins, you should be on a mic. So, talking about your childhood and you growing up, well, obviously being Indigenous, do you think that that was like a barrier coming up and growing up in the society that we do live in? Like, were there any challenges that stuck out to you?
Yeah. The way I got raised was in a stoic way. I'll talk about that later on, but I don't let most people bug me, but I had a lot of problems growing up. I went to a lot of, what would you say, like Indigenous. Well, I went to a school with not many Indigenous kids, so I was always picked on about my hair and called a dirty Indian. It's pretty funny. I thought it was funny.
He grew up out of the hood, so.
But I still got the mentally abuse.
And what about you, Shyla?
For me personally, I grew up like in the hood, right, experiencing all just the raw stuff that you experience in the hood. And I don't know, honestly, I can't complain because I'm not a bad person. I never turned out no type of way or nothing. So like my experience wasn't too bad, and like, oh. But like, I don't know. Sometimes it would be more harder when we would leave the hood. Honestly, like, it's sad to say, but being in the hood, you feel more like safe because you know that you're okay there.
Yeah.
And you don't feel like exposed because you're Indigenous.
Well, especially because like
The
you
color of your
were
skin.
there like
Yeah.
for your entire life, right?
Yeah. So like being out of the hood, I honestly don't feel as safe as I do being in the hood because I feel more like honestly involved and like okay because I know everyone around me and I know the people around me. So I didn't experience too much bad things. It was just more when I would leave the hood.
Yeah.
I experienced more of the like.
Like, say if something were bad happening outside on the streets, at least like 3 or 5 people come to see if you're okay. But the where I grew up, I'd be like, I'd get beat up. No one would come out there. Just be, oh, look at that. That guy probably deserves it.
So like we have like 2 totally different experiences growing up.
Do you guys think that like as of today and how you've grown as people, do you feel that today some of those difficulties and those barriers still stand?
I feel they do because it's harder with your peers, being a young one yourself, trying to influence the culture. Having your peers, honestly, they're the ones who kind of tease you the most and who like make you think you're doing wrong because you're not doing what they're doing and you're not like involved with them and you're trying to do something else.
Because everyone has different teachings in the culture.
Different experiences, different, yeah. Did you grow up in the hood? Not in the hood, or
I
were
just
you
grew up
in
in
between?
I've been in Elmwood, so I don't really know what that can classify as.
I'd say in the middle.
I feel like it's 50-50.
50-50.
I think Elmwood can be...
Depending on the day.
I live on the bad streets of Elmwood, not the good
Okay.
streets.
Now we know.
The suburbs.
Like you can kind of, while driving through it, you got the good part, and you can see it's the good part, and then you start seeing all the other houses and things like that, and you're like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Me personally, I was back and forth from Elmwood and the North End. So it's kind of like, get the best of both worlds, you know?
Back and forth.
It is back and forth. I had a lot of family that resides in Northside, and I have a lot of family that resides over here. So kind of get the experience of like...
Best of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly. For those who are listening and don't know what Northside classifies as, that is one of our many dedicated hoods in our city. You have Northside and you have Westside. Elmwood is, like we said, a little mix of both. But I would say when you think of Elmwood, the first thing you would think of is Elmwood High School. And that is the rise of the ghetto over here, I would say. I identify as Scottish Anishinaabe. So on the outside, I'm white.
Scottish. Like
Right, yeah. So when I talk about being Indigenous, a lot of people are like, oh my God, like you're Indigenous. Yes. And I feel like that has a good side to it, but at the same time, it doesn't. And I feel like on the outside, like being like in Northside or in Elmwood, like anywhere, honestly, it's like on like I'm like 2 other people's point of view, I'm white, right? And I'm blonde. So that's like the pure like white look of a girl, right? So I feel like when it comes to a certain extent, like with like discrimination or racism or whatever, like it's sad to say that I'm like safe on that side until it's like you really get into the details and you talk about the culture and stuff like that. And like when I talk about it, then I feel like it really shouldn't be the way that it is, but because of the way that like I am when I talk about it, then I feel like that's what puts me at risk.
Yeah.
Right? So it's kind of like I could have a treaty card and then I pull it out and it's like, oh, you're treaty, so now you're a target, right? And like the whole reason why we have this podcast to begin with is to reach out to the youth in our community, or like even like adults that are afraid to speak up and are afraid to be who they are. And that's exactly why that we have these conversations, not even just like for people like me, but for people who are fully Indigenous and are afraid to talk about it. I know there's a lot of people who feel like they can't be themselves because of the society that we live in, right? Yeah. And when we talk about discrimination and stuff like that, like, I mean, it's crazy, right? Like it's a big thing, especially with Indigenous peoples. And when we get into like generational trauma and residential schools and stuff like that, I mean, like coming off of that, I actually wanted to ask you guys like how you feel about like TRC and like what you guys do personally to help take the steps towards like the calls to action or like steps towards justice within truth and reconciliation.
So for me personally, I'm a second generation survivor, and I'm very thankful for this because my mom is a first generation survivor, and she was one of the ones where I got to the point where you could choose or not to send your kids to day school. And I'm like really, really thankful this because my grandfather had chosen not to send my mom to day school. So like with my family, my grandparents and stuff, they don't like the culture and like they don't try to force it. They don't try to push it. They really like the residential school. Yeah. The schools like affected them like a lot. So growing up for my mom didn't have any of like her family. They weren't involved with the culture like with her. She was there alone because of residential schools and because of how much they pushed my grandparents and everything like that away. So for me personally, like it hits me harder because I know that my grandparents and like aunties and uncles had to go through some of that stuff. But being a second generation survivor, it makes me proud and it honestly gives me a sense of happiness knowing that my mother didn't have to go through that. Yeah. But it makes me sad knowing that my grandparents and that my aunties and uncles had to go through that. And something that I tried doing, like, I just try to influence the culture as much as I can onto other kids. I try to, like, be as happy as I can around other little kids. Like, I try gifting outfits to little kids sometimes, like, at different powwow clubs we go to. And I just try to be, like, really involving and really open and, like, I let kids know that it's okay, but it's also not okay. Yeah. Like, and I just try to be, like, understanding with them and not so forceful or so harsh. Because some of the kids, like, discipline, some kids can't take discipline the same way because of the way we've been disciplined as kids, because of the way our parents were disciplined.
Yeah, of course. I feel like even for non-Indigenous youth, I mean, like, I think it is actually, like, a really good thing to educate. Like talking about like not even just the history, but like there's like the survival and the impact exactly. And I feel like everybody should feel open to learning more about it. And like, I mean, like the culture, like in itself, like Indigenous peoples and like everything like that. I mean, it's open, like it's open for everyone.
It's very open. Like something like just honestly, I think it was like last week or like 2 weeks ago, we were in an Uber and he was just new to Canada. Yeah. And himself, he didn't know about residential school, so we kind of like opened his eyes. And like, there's a lot of people that are new here and they don't know the past and the history because it's not taught the way it should be. And so when we open our mouths and when we try to teach them, sometimes it's not believed until they do the research themselves. And like that's just like for show, like 2 weeks ago with the Uber, like he was so surprised when he actually found out that like that happened, and like he was like wanting to do more research himself into it. And
it's like the newcomers don't come to Canada and they don't know why we don't celebrate Canada Day.
Exactly. So like they come and they find out these things and then they find out why it's like this way and why things are the way they are. And it kind of like opens their eyes more because they didn't realize that when they first came here.
Getting back to intergenerational trauma survivors.
Yeah.
I'd be the first one because my dad went to a day school, and I didn't find that out until I was like 17. So the way I was raised made a lot of sense after he explained to me he went to a day school. I couldn't express my emotions, like I couldn't cry. I couldn't just talk to somebody about what I'm feeling. So after he told me that, I forgave him with a lot of things. Forgave him for not being the best father he could, and just an overall forgave him. Another person that helped me today was my lady. Helped me express my emotions, get through that trauma.
So you said that growing up, like, you didn't know until you were 17, right?
Yeah.
So when you were 17 and you were told, how did that impact you, like, moving forward from then?
Just opened my view towards him, like why he was so closed off and why he couldn't express his feelings towards me, just overall talking.
Do you feel like that changed you in any way, whether that be your actions or your attitude? Or
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't be the man who I am today if I didn't know all the things I did. I'm a product of the past.
Yeah, so I know that you guys teach dancing to like younger kids. Does helping Indigenous youth in some way help you too?
It does, because it brings me the sense of like full circle kind of completion, because like my grandparents, when they were young, they celebrated the culture, and then when they got taken away, it's like a full circle moment because it got taken away from them. The children that we work with like inner city children. We work with like kids who are like really affected by the intergenerational trauma, and like their parents can't really like reach out to start that. So like it really does help us feel that sense of like completion and full circle moments, because we can teach the kids where they're
bringing it back.
Like, like their parents are struggling, and like we want to influence these kids to start the culture again, so that we can all come back later in the future and like once they grow up. Because like for me, I started out at these clubs when I was small, and I had so many friends, so many people that I danced with, and now today it's just me. Mm-hmm. And nobody else dances, nobody else sings anymore, because like the culture is just so like frowned upon. Mm-hmm. So like I try to be as happy with the younger ones as I can be. And I try to like, I don't try to like force it on them, but like I try to like influence it.
Yeah.
And like show them like the happiness and the good things that can come out of it.
It's like we heal the kids and they heal us when we're teaching them. It's like they have those intergenerational trauma issues, as I once had. Like a lot of people just joke around about their emotions and they don't take it seriously. So it's like, take a second. I'm like, are you okay? You know you're okay, right? You're loved. I enjoy having your company. I enjoy seeing you around all the time. And they just go quiet. They look at me and they just walk away. But I know I just touched them in the heart there.
I think it's very beautiful that you guys go out of your way to do these things. When did you like first get into the idea that like, oh, I should like want to teach like people who don't know?
When I was younger myself, actually, like still in elementary school, being teased by my friends is honestly what helped me go to start influencing it more, because me being teased helped me come to the realization of why are they teasing me when they should be doing this with me. Yeah. And like that's kind of where a lot of the realization like came in and like set in of my grade 7 and 8 years, actually, when I like was teaching POW Club over at William White. That's when I had more started. Like before I was just involved with POW Clubs and I was just going to the POW Clubs to go dance, to go do that. But then I got invited into Mamawe, Mama Wichita. Yeah. And I went to their POW Club and I started teaching there, I'd say maybe 2014. And since then on, I've just been teaching and trying to influence and help out the kids as best as I can.
How young are like the kids that you do teach?
We teach all ages, babies, right, adults, everyone. We don't discriminate anybody at all.
We treat everyone like a kid. It's like we bring that inner child out of you and we're like, what's up, man?
We try to like be as like inclusive and like as bubbly and open as we can be to try to like help those people start dancing again, because some people feel very like closed off.
I think especially because nowadays, like if we take it even like to school, for example, they have classes that teach you a lot about like Indigenous history and stuff like that. But I feel like to those who are non-Indigenous or those who are don't know much, what they are taught is just like the past. Like they're just taught residential schools, and like if you go and ask someone who's like non-Indigenous, oh, like what's the first thing you think of? Like for sure the first thing that they would say is like residential schools.
Or they would say all those homeless people on Main Street.
Or they would say that too, like addictions and stuff like that, or like the trauma. So I think it's like it's perfect that you guys do that and like teach younger ones, especially early on, the good things and like the good perspective and like what comes out of it to help you like I mean, like it helps you grow as a person, really.
One thing I always try to like tell the kids is like I tell them that I myself have had a full circle moment within the Powwow Club, because I started going to Powwow Club, then I started teaching at Powwow Club. And now for Powwow Club, I'm the youth coordinator, and I'm like the one that's like one of like the bosses that like helps with club, that does like a lot of the things for club. So a lot of the times, like I always try to tell the kids, like I started out here too, so you can be just like me, or you can be better than me. You can do, you can reach for things that you think you can't, you can. So like I always just try to like tell them that, because I started out there and now look, I'm still doing good and I'm doing okay now.
I feel like you're on the rise, Shyla.
I hope so.
If I were to ask you what your favorite thing or the one thing you love most about dancing and being so into the culture, what would that be?
The feeling you get when you dance. Like for me,
I like that answer.
personally, for me when I dance, it's like honestly nothing else is there.
It's like
I can see everyone else there, but I don't feel them there. I'm in my own little world dancing, and like I feel free.
Yeah.
And I feel like nothing's like holding me back. And when I dance, you can see it in my dancing that I dance to be proud, and I dance for my culture, and like I dance like,
Shyla, I got a really, it's been a thought off my head. Okay, my girlfriend's not Indigenous. She's a competitive dancer. She would give the same answer about dancing, but it wouldn't be about powwow dancing. If you're dancing but not powwow dancing, do you get that same feeling?
So it all depends on the song. So like for me, powwow music really draws me in.
Yeah.
And like for me, so like some songs are slower than the others, some songs are faster, and we have different styles of songs. So my favorite song to dance to would be a straight song that's just a very like fast paced, like and you just dance. Like that's my favorite style to dance to, because being a butterfly is you're flying freely and you're just expressing yourself. So that's something like I like doing. Like when I get a slower song, you can see it in my dancing sometimes. Like, I'm a bit bummed out.
You're at like the club though. Like, does that dancing give you the same feeling?
No, not at all.
Okay, cool. That was what I was trying to get at there. So it's like specifically that kind of cultural connection.
Yeah, it's like the culture, like the connection with the drum.
Earlier you did mention what your dad passing away and how that opened your eyes and motivated you and let you forgive him for how he raised you or when he wasn't there for you. When you did forgive him, was that before or after that he passed away?
Like afterwards, after that 1 year, and I got back into the culture and started singing and dancing. Shyla had a dream. I had one dream. My dad just came talk to me, but I don't remember what he talked to me about in my dream. And then the other day, he went to go visit Shyla in her dream. And what did he say?
I don't know. My dream, we were just like, this is after he passed away. Like, it was just me and him, and like we were honestly having like a really heart-to-heart conversation in my dream, and I can't remember it fully, but like it was like a really
it's not mad at us
powerful dream, like because like before he passed, like we were all butting heads, we were all being stubborn and like that, and like after he passed away, like in my dream, like he came and like he like was saying like it's okay now, like everything's okay, and like that's just pretty much what he was saying in my dream, because we were all fighting and like I didn't feel that connection or feel close.
Yeah.
And after I had that dream, like that feeling went away and like I felt connected and I felt close. And, like, I explained that dream to him when he woke up, and like that kind of like helped him come to realization of like you're like kind of like my dad's going to you.
Yeah.
And not me, but like so that's kind of what helped.
Do you feel like getting into such a close connection with the culture helped you like get into a connection with him through that dream, or do you feel that that dream helped you get more into connection with the culture?
I felt that dream helped me get more into connection with the culture, because his dad was like somebody that tried bringing me more into the culture, because his dad knew the way that I grew up, just because his dad knew my mom and like all that.
Your parents knew each other?
Yeah.
Before you started dating?
Yeah.
Really?
You know, it's
We
funny.
knew each other
So
growing
could have
up,
you knew each other growing up?
but we never like.
I watched her
talked,
dance
or
all
we
the time. I'd
never-
always be at the drum watching her dance
he
her
just had
fancy
a little
shell.
crush on you?
Yeah, and we're at Wasak one time. I saw her get dunked in the dunk tank. And I was like, what the heck? She started chasing the boys. Get back here.
Just wishing you were one of those boys.
Yeah. I was like, I want to play, but I was just really, really shy.
Yeah, I punched that boy in the head because he pushed the button on me.
So you were shy first, and then you were shy
Afterwards.
Like, I knew of her and I watched her, but when we actually started talking was at the UMW.
Because like growing up, our parents grew up together,
Yeah.
and then we grew up together, but not
But, like,
together.
yeah,
like
yeah.
we were there.
Yeah.
Like I'm over here, he's over there, and we're there. I remember one time I went to his mom was having a Bannock taco sale, and I went to his house, and he was just sitting on the couch playing on his DS there, and I went to go pee in the bathroom, and his little sister was in the bathroom. And it's kind of funny because like we think back to this now, and like here we are now.
Yeah.
But I went to go pee in her bathroom. They were having a Bannock taco sale, and then like his mom was like, "Oh, my daughter's in the tub. I'm just gonna close the curtain." And like, okay, I was like, "Okay, that's okay. She's just a little girl."
Yeah.
I went to go pee, and like she's like, "Hi, what's your name?" Go to the curtain, and like I always remember that.
Like my little sister knew.
I was going to say, yeah.
I think back to that now, and I'm like, wow, here we are now.
And now you see her and you're like, hi.
Yeah. 'Cause
our
she's
daughter looks like her too.
like she looks exactly
Like your sister?
yeah. She's got the chunkiness, she's got the looks and everything, and she looks nothing like me.
Pretty scary.
How many do you guys have now? You have
Two.
Two. Yeah, that's right.
Kona and Winia.
Those
How old
are
are they?
beautiful names.
Kona is 2, Winia is 1.
How did you come up with like,
Kona was, you have to ask Dian that
I was just
question.
sitting in a corner. I was like, I have a nice name. It's Dien, Dian. Like
Yeah.
my mom spelled it weird, like Dian, but it was supposed to be Dean. So one day I was like, yeah, my name is Dian. So I wanted to give my son a really unique name. So I was like, I was thinking about Conan, but I was like, I want something like that. So I was like, Kona. I was like, it was pretty funny because I just switched Akon.
oh, yeah.
It was Kona. And then suddenly it was Snow and Cree. The meaning of Kona is Snow and Cree. I was like, oh, spot on. I
That's
got
like
a bonus.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, it was and then for Winia, when I was pregnant with Kona, we came up with this deal that if we were having a boy, he could name them.
Yeah.
If we were having a girl, I could name them. So that was the deal. So Kona, and then he named Kona. And the next baby, I was like, I'm naming them because you named Kona.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's a boy or girl. So my thought when I was pregnant with Kona, I was thinking of girl names and boy names. And like, Winia is a Lakota name. And
Yeah.
It means cause to live. My babies are my reason for me to keep going. So like,
Aw.
that's one reason why I named Winia.
Yeah.
Winia is because that means cause to live in Lakota.
I was going to say, they sound like very spiritual names.
So like, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how I came up with that. Because I'm Lakota.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
That's cute. That's very cute.
What all are you? Like, what all the tribes do you have in you?
I don't know. They call me a Heinz 57 because, like, I have like some Sioux, I have some Dene, I have some like Cree, Ojibwe. I have like a lot of them.
So you have it all pretty much?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
What I have is Sioux, Ojibwe, Dakota, Cree,
Nakota.
Lakota, and I think that's it.
But they call me a Heinz 57 because I've got
57.
so many like different tribes mixed with
That was
it.
actually a test to see if you could name everything.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for me just off the bat that goes off that topic?
No.
No.
You guys got any questions that you want to know about the Powwow Trail?
What can you tell us about that you think that we or anyone, for those who are listening, should know about that?
It's something you have to experience yourself. Because being on the trail, you get to experience being on the land.
Yeah.
You have devices there, but they're just there.
Yeah.
And being on the land, you get like more of a connection. You get the fire, you get like all of that. And honestly, being around your family for the whole weekend is what's the most fun about it.
Powwow represents the celebration of life. Everyone's welcomed. Like, you can do everything at the Powwow. Yeah, you can dance, you can yell, you can sing.
My favorite time at the Powwow on the Powwow Trail, though, is when the Powwow is over and you go back to the camp and you roast marshmallows, you roast wieners, you sing by the fire sometimes, and people are vaping, people are smoking, and like, yeah, just have a good time and like you sit there and vibe. Sometimes people will sing powwow late at night. And it's something like you really need to experience.
Have you guys ever tried, like, coming off of, like, s'mores? Have you ever tried, like, Bannock s'mores?
Never.
I've never
That's
heard of that
something we'll
until
have to
today.
try
I
this
literally,
summer.
we have, like, this event going on at the school on the
cool
17th.
house.
There's, like, some, like, little event with, like, the band or whatever, and there's Bannock s'mores. And I was like, what the hell is that?
So is it gonna
I
be like?
definitely have to try that one.
Like, like, obviously that would, like, replace the graham cracker, but I'm like, what?
How is that going to work?
I don't know.
Crispy fry bread.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it would be like thin fry bread.
Fry bread.
I can make crispy fry bread too. I did it by accident one time.
It's always by accident.
The very first time we made bannock, I was pregnant. Dian forgot the milk. So we had some very flat and hard bannock.
So I thought that counts.
When you're going in the powwow, they do the first grand entry song for the flags, and they all stand. They're welcoming all the spirits in and all the ancestors to come walk with you and sing with you and dance with you. So if you feel like you have your relative that you miss there, they're probably there. Because whenever I'm singing, I close my eyes, I get to hear my dad and my uncles that all passed, and they're still there. I still hear them singing, and it's like trippy. I'm like, whoa.
I was just going to ask you, like, you feel that, don't
Yeah,
you?
you can hear them.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the videos too, like recordings or something, you can hear them and you're like, but they weren't there.
Yeah, they're dead.
Well, at least you, like, know that they're for sure there watching over you, you know? Like, if you ever feel, like, in doubt or alone or, like, you don't have, like, anyone to talk to, I mean, like, they are still there. Like, if you feel like that loss, like, they are gone, but, like, they're not.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, I don't know if anyone else has this, but, like, when your relative dies, you can still hear them talking to you whenever, like, a certain situation will pop up. Mm-hmm. You can just hear them giving you heck or talking to you.
We had, like, with my family, I had my Auntie Loretta who passed away. I think it was, like, years ago. It was, like, 2015 or something. But she had, like, this chair that she kept, like, dear to her heart. She was always sitting on that one chair. So we took the chair home. My grandma took it home. And I remember my auntie told me, like, she's sitting in the living room and she's by herself. The chair starts rocking. And, like, normally this would be scary, right? Like, it is scary, but then it's like, oh, well, that's my auntie, right? Yeah. But then it's like, why did we take the chair? Like, I love her, but, like, I don't want it anymore.
You're scaring me.
I know, bro. Like, it was just like, it's just, yeah, it, like, just starts rocking. And then it, like, kind of tripped me out. So, like, I didn't believe it at first. But my auntie who saw, like, my great auntie is, like, what she was. She said that she, like, saw her there sitting in the chair for a split second. And then she was just, like, gone. And then I was like, thank God I was, like, not there. Because, like, I literally would have, like, freaked out. But then it's, like, that's, like, you keep that dear to your heart. Like, it freaks you out. But then it's, like, that's proof that they're still around, right?
The little reminders.
It is. It's a perfect reminder.
Well, going on that topic, I know one time, I also, something about chairs and family members. There's always that one chair. You always got to fight over that chair. You know, go put something on it before someone else takes it.
A blanket.
Exactly.
A blanket, yeah.
I know my grandmother, she had this one chair she would always use, and then she died. So then it became who got to that chair first. So now whenever we go, because that chair's still there because it's her chair, right? We're not going to take it. So whenever we go there first, she told me I can have it personally. And then my auntie, she's always fighting me for it. So it's like the race to who gets to the house first to get it. Because it's just like something about chairs. It's like they love the chairs.
It's just the comfort.
It's like they choose the comfiest chair. So then you can't have it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's weird. But it's nice because when she, like, because she passed, I think, in 2019. I know when she died, I went to the house, and it was a different atmosphere. It was dark. It was, like, it was just closed in, but I know I, like, turned the corner too fast, and, like, I thought I saw her sitting in there, so I was so happy, and then, like, I looked again, she was gone, but it was, like, so I know she was there, like.
Your heart felt that.
Yeah.
Like,
it just, like, then the house became brighter again. Like, I knew she was there, she wasn't gone, I just couldn't see her.
Yeah.
And that's just the thing is, like, I feel like everything, they're gone, but they're not really gone.
No.
they're still there.
That's why I'm so social now. Like, had a whole bunch of buddies die on me, and now I'm like, I'm really open. I'm like going up to them, are you okay, buddy? I'm trying to be a therapist to everybody.
Yeah.
So, since you said that you're trying to be a therapist, I have one last question for you both. And I asked you this earlier, but I would like you to answer again and maybe even in more depth. So what advice would you give to an Indigenous youth or young adult who is feeling afraid to be open about themselves and their culture?
If that person was around me personally, I'd pull them into their circle and I'd tell them, invite them down to sing with me. I'd show them how to do the easy steps of dancing, make them feel welcomed. But the things I'd say to you is, you're there for yourself. You're there for your own healing. You're there to enjoy yourself. You're there to celebrate whatever you're going to celebrate in a good, loving, caring, respectful way. As long as you're doing that, you'll get it in return. Yeah.
For me, it's just no matter what your peers think, no matter what your friends, no matter what anybody close to you thinks, continue doing what you want to do and what your heart desires for you to do. Because a lot of the people around you aren't going to like what you're doing. A lot of the people around you aren't going to support what you're doing, and they're going to tease you. But don't take it in that way. Take it in a way as they want to do it, but they're just too shy to do it themselves. So they're reflecting in a way that they think is okay for themselves, and that it helps them bring that, like...
They're projecting themselves on you.
Yeah. So just, like, don't listen to that when they do that.
Yeah.
And, like, if you feel that connection with the culture, reach for it, grab it, and just push yourself to be the person that you think you can't be, and try to be as happy as you can be.
Okay. So I lied. I have another question. What would you say to someone, again, like a child or a teenager or an adult who is feeling resistant in getting into the culture, getting to know the culture?
I would find ways that they want to be involved, because there's different ways that some people can be involved. Some people can come be involved by honestly being mic runners. You don't have to dance. You can just go on by helping with the mic. Some people like singing more. You can involve them by bringing them into the drum. Some people like dancing more. You can take them off to the side and like kind of just do like a one-on-one type of thing. And it all depends on, like, you just got to kind of like whatever way or whatever that kid likes, you have to just adapt to them. Because I've dealt with kids that have been like kind of resistant before and that haven't wanted to be involved. But you just need to adapt and learn ways that you can like adapt to them pretty much.
Take it step by step.
Yeah.
And one thing also is, I know, like, especially working with kids sometimes can be difficult because, like, their mind's on 100 different things. And so, like, one thing I was told is they may not listen, but they hear you.
Yes, they do.
They always retain the information, but it's not that they're reflecting, that they show it. So sometimes you just have to like give them a small reminder, like, hey, let's do this instead of this. Or like if they're getting too crazy or something, like you just give small reminders and like kind of pull them back in slowly. And then like for the ones that like, I have dealt with like some kids that like they listen, but they don't listen. So like you just gotta like let them. That's when you would put on like a faster song. And you let them get rid of that energy and you let them express it however they want to express it.
There's no right or wrong way to dance. Yeah, you dance from the heart.
It's whatever you're feeling out there, how you want to do it.
You do a backflip if you want to.
Okay, well, thank you guys again for coming and joining us. It was a very good time. Very happy that you guys came.
Good conversation.
Very good conversation.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having us.
Okay, well, you guys have a good day.
You too.
Okay.